Hey, Dennis here with another video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about imagination and why imagination is the real reality. And it's not what you think it is. That this world is not what you think it is. So to help you understand what I'm saying in this video, I'm going to use a story of one of my awakenings that I had many years ago. So years ago, I came up with this example to help people understand consciousness. And in the story, I used the animal, the donkey, because people have an idea of, donkeys, they're not very intelligent animals. And a lot of animals, of course, they can't recognize themselves in the mirror. But the donkey is, for whatever reason, the classical, not very intelligent animal, right? So one day, I was in my room, and this is totally unplanned, by the way. I was just doing this thing that I tell myself sometimes, and here I'll get into it here in a minute. And one day I had my eyes closed, and I saw the donkey in my mind, and in front of the donkey was a mirror, and I kept telling the donkey that was looking in the mirror, like, "This is you, this is you, this is you," again and again and again and again, right? And of course, a donkey being a donkey can't understand that, oh, this thing in the mirror is me. I couldn't get it. No matter how many times I made it direct, And of course, you could say that a donkey doesn't understand human language. But the assumption is that if it did, you would think that it would understand. Well, spoiler, it still wouldn't. And as I had my eyes closed, as I kept saying, "This is you, this is you, this is you, look, why can't you get it? This is you, this is you." And I got so engrossed in this imagination with my eyes closed that when I opened my eyes, I saw a door in front of me, my door. And then it hit me just like that. This awakening experience, or one of many that I've had. And instead of a mirror in front of me, there was a door. And I realized in an instant that this door in front of me was also me. And that it didn't have to be a mirror, right? Because the idea is that, okay, if there's a mirror in front of you, right, you would look at the mirror and say, this thing being reflected back to me is me. And you say, okay, of course, humans can understand that. But a donkey can't, right? So no matter how many times you show the donkey that this is you, this is you, this is you, it can't get it. Well, the same way that a human can look into a mirror and understand that this is it, can also look over somewhere else at a different object, not being a mirror, and say, ah, oh, this is also me. Why did it ever have to be a mirror? Right? And even though I'm saying this directly to you, in the same way that I would tell the donkey, and sorry, no offense, but I'm not trying to compare you to a donkey here, but just to get the point. The same way that you would tell a donkey, hey, this is you, and it can't get it, the same way a human at a lower state of consciousness looking at an object cannot understand that this object, that's not a mirror in this case, is also it. And at the time, when I realized that this door in front of me is me, I looked around my room and everything in the room was also me. Now, to put it into, to be more clear, still looking from, this body of mine, this my body, and looking out from these eyes, everything, nothing changed per se. Because people, have the idea that when you have an awakening experience, well, what do you see exactly? What changed? Well, nothing changed. Everything's recontextualized. And that's really what matters in this case, because people, if you haven't, ever had an awakening experience and you hear my story, you might think, yeah, so what? So what? What does that do? Are you kidding me? Like, that recontextualizes your whole entire life. Everything's different from that point if you let it. seep in, and with that new understanding, you can choose different actions, right? Because think about it. A lot of people have the understanding or think, right, that science is the highest understanding of what we have, right? If it's not science or if it's not logical or aligned with science, then it's woo-woo nonsense stuff. And what I'm telling you is the kind of experience that I explained to you, or that you could have and beyond, is higher than science. Science is not the highest truth. There's understanding beyond science. Now, if you want to make this practical, and that's why people don't care for the most part about what's true, because maybe it's not practical in the ultimate sense. And I've said this before in other videos that science doesn't care about science. Or sorry, science doesn't care about truth. Science cares about science. If it's not practical, if you can't measure it with a stick, if you can't measure it with a tape measure, then people don't tend to believe in this kind of woo-woo stuff that I like to talk about. And it's not that I like to talk about it per se, or I'm some spiritual hippie guy or whatever you think I am. It's that I cared about what was true, right? In your experience, what's true is what is here right now, right? Does it make sense from even a logical standpoint that this thing here is you, like this, outline of a person is me, and then all that other stuff over there is not, right? This is me, this is you, and there's other people out there that's not in this room, right? This is the understanding of the human mind. And you were told these things, right? It's not enough for me to tell you what's true. It has to be experienced directly. And the way I explained to you in this video of how I did it is just one of many ways. It's a technique, and by no means is it the only technique. Or heck, there isn't even a technique per se, right? There's actually no technique. But that's for another video. That's for another video. But what's important is to disassociate with the thing that you think is you, or something that you think you know what it is, right? So in my example, people have an idea, okay, this thing is a mirror, this is what it do, it reflects, and that thing in the mirror is me. That's the idea, right? But when I got engrossed in this imagination, I completely forgot about this world outside of me, right? So then when I opened my eyes and I saw, okay, there's a door, and I said, whoa, it completely shook me. So the idea of expecting a mirror, I guess, and then seeing a door, it happened instantaneously. And that's what it took, I think, for me to experience that phenomenon, that I have to have that awakening. And the same way, it also works the same way with other things like science, or your idea of it at least, because you think like, oh, science is this, and it works this way, and this is logical, and it works this way. But how would you know how anything would work, right? Just like I would say, okay, reality is an infinite mind. But science might say, well, how would you know? How can you prove it? I'm like, well, you just have to have an awakening experience, and then you'll know. And maybe there's other ways to understand the world than this way that we have now called quote-unquote science, right? And, well, think about it this way. Reality is an infinite mind. And if we ask me, like, how do I know? Just work with me here. Reality is an infinite mind. But science is a finite system, what we use to, measure things and understand the world. Science is a finite system that is trying to understand infinity. Now, first of all, this is impossible. It can't do it. It won't be able to either. Which means Well, by the way, I'm getting into this because I remember someone I know he said to me that, well, it seems like science is getting answers and it has some sort of progress, I guess you could say. And I'm thinking like, well, how would you know that's progress? Maybe it's not any closer than what it was years ago when science was first invented. And what I'm saying is, science is no closer to truth than the day of its inception. Because if science is a finite method, or the scientific method is a finite method, that means science is always infinite steps away from truth. It's never any closer. But it keeps insisting that, well, if you do these, scientific methods, we'll understand reality. But what I'm telling you is you won't, because it's always infinite steps away. And then 1,000 years from now, it will never be any closer than today, however close it is now, which is not very close at all. And the reason why I tell you this is because when you're trying to understand reality, you're not just understanding the world as it is out there. What you're understanding is the real you, this self that you think you are. And this is why imagination is very important, because people let themselves get sucked in to this world out here, right? You think there's these people out here and they're trying to do these things to you and this, or whatever it is. I don't know what your story is. I'm just making up some stuff. And you get lost in that and you think, oh, I have these problems, and you get sucked into this world, right? This world here. But what the true world is infinite imagination inside of you. And then out here is a reflection of what you are. And that's important to know, because if you were to know this, you would understand what you are, and you can see things differently, choose to be different, take different actions, right? So the whole, if I were to tell somebody this, and I tell people here online, right? I'm telling you more directly because I don't know you. If I knew you in real life, I'd probably never gonna tell you any of this stuff. Heck, a lot of people I know, family, friends, they don't even know any of this stuff about me that I say here on YouTube. They could simply just watch a YouTube video, type my name in, they'll probably find it. But see, I don't have the liberty of not explaining things directly here to you, because I don't know you, so I have to, cast a big net, so to speak. And I'm telling you directly because I don't have like I said, the liberty of catering my answer to a specific person, right? Because normally the best way to help people understand this is not to tell them directly. It's to ask them a question, get them to think, right? And I mean, I guess I could do that in this video, but I'm just telling you what it is. And if you ask me like, well, can you prove it? It's like, well, no. But there are ways to just know what I'm talking about. And I think I made this video a lot longer than I wanted. But yeah, this won't be the first time I probably even mentioned this story, or I think I can explain it better. But remember, this is important because to the person that says, so what? You're getting lost into this outside dimension, or this world, whatever you want to call it. And that's what you think is real. Or not, or, well, I mean, yeah, it's real, but not real at the same time. And it's not a simulation either, so I don't want to misspeak. I can't say that it's not real, or that it's real, or any other way, because truth, it's beyond all that. I can't say it's any which way, and for me to explain too much, as I'm doing now, I guess, is to give people, or you, I guess, more fodder to misunderstand what I'm saying. And that's really the whole problem with all this, even though I try to be direct in my teaching. So I guess to summarize this video, that was my experience of understanding or knowing, I guess you could say, that everything around me was me. Now, I don't walk around in my everyday life at that level of consciousness. So what tends to happen is that, for the most part, as a human, as what you are as a human, you're at a certain level of consciousness throughout most of your life. But there's ways to increase it, even this temporarily, right? Like through meditation or people take psychedelics. Um, but you can't stay there. Well, your baseline can increase, but there's levels that are so high that you can't stay in that state for a long time. And it's similar to other states, like you know what it's like to be sleepy, or maybe you're hungry, or is that even a good state? Well, you know what I mean. Like there's certain states that you're in. Like I'm happy, I'm sad. Maybe people that drink alcohol, you're in a state, right? And then when your consciousness reaches a higher level, you're also in another state, and this state puts you in an um, well state that you can understand other things around you that other people wouldn't be able to see, like a fish in water, right? And you're looking at this water, and hey, this is water, and there's also an outside to this thing called water, and then the fish are like, "What are you talking about? What's water anyway?" Right? So this is what I'm really trying to tell you in this video is that there's higher states of consciousness. Imagination is the real reality. Science is not the highest understanding of what we have. Now, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you have any questions or need help with any of the stuff, you can type in the comments, let me know. I'll leave my Substack in the description, and if you need a way to contact me, it'll also be there. And with that said, talk to you next time.